Great. So I would love to learn a little bit more about you, Chris, if that's okay. Can you
Sure.
tell me a little bit more about when you started teaching and what you do teach?
So I started in 2005, and I've taught several sort of courses: social studies and English, drama, computers, business. So like a bit of a wide range of teaching experiences.
Right.
And then about 5 years ago, I transitioned into my role as a vice principal.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm a vice principal of a school.
Excellent. And what school district do you teach with?
School District 61 in Victoria.
Great. Oh, so nice. Victoria's lovely. I haven't been there in a long time. And so right now, can you tell me a little bit about your experience with educational travel? What first motivated you to take, to really combine education with field trips or field experiences?
Right. So in 2010, a colleague approached me for my first EF tour, and she needed a male chaperone. So and knew I was connected with a lot of the kids.
Yes.
And so that was my first trip that year. And then the following year, once again was asked to be a male chaperone, and was connected with a lot of the kids, either taught them in social studies or coached them as their volleyball coach. So that was back-to-back years, my first two EF tours. And so what drew me to that is at first it was the idea of getting over to Europe to visit some cities I'd never visited before.
Right.
My family is from Greece, so I would travel to and from Greece. I've done that several times in my life, but never been to places like Paris or London or Barcelona. So that's what drew me to want to travel with EF. And then once I was our school hadn't organized a trip in a while, and I felt like it was my turn to do that. So
Yes.
in 2013 or 12, I believe, I started the planning, and we went in 2014.
I see.
To I can't remember where. Yeah, we went to Italy and France and Italy.
Mm-hmm.
And then a few years later, when I transferred to a different school as a vice principal, once again needed a male chaperone and was asked again to go. I'll say that the draw is being able to take kids and to connect with them, and the opportunity to see new places and bring learning to life.
Mm-hmm.
In the trip that I organized, I had the ability to teach those kids in grade 9 and really sell them. I mean, I sold them on the trip when I organized mine when they were in grade 8, when we visited other schools and had the opportunity to talk to them. And then when they came to our school in grade 9, they were already starting to register, and I got to teach them in grade 9 and 10. And
Yes.
when we got to places like Versailles, let's say, for example, we had already studied the French Revolution, and it was so rewarding to have A, built the connections with the students, and B, be able to show them the place that we taught them. It was so powerful. Now, flip to my most recent experience, which was, me as a VP coming in, didn't know the kids as well. But the trip is very much the same trip, Versailles through Paris and some different pieces in Italy, and ended up on a cruise through Greece, which I thought was neat. But there wasn't the same connection, if I can be honest, because the kids hadn't really learned about the places we were going to. So, I don't know. I know you're doing survey work. One of the most powerful things was the opportunity to have a little bit of background info on the places we were going to. That and working with the students to really craft that experience. I knew where we were going, so I could teach them about the places we were going to. Whereas this new group, it was so eclectic. Kids were coming from all over the map, from, different classes, which is fine. You want to fill the seat. This was a huge trip. The last one I went on, it was like 30 kids. So,
Right.
Big for our school at least. Yeah, that was probably a broader answer than you were expecting, but
No. I mean, this is all
yeah.
really interesting, and I will build on that, especially what you just said in terms of how you prepare for these experiences and what your expectations are in terms of how we can better partner with educators in terms of doing that. So that also leads us down the path of educational resources and how we work with educators directly in terms of preparing for these types of experiences. So we'll definitely build on that, and I appreciate you bringing that up. Just one quick question. The last trip that you did, was that with EF or was that with another provider?
It was with EF. So there was nothing that EF didn't do. It's that the group was primarily French immersion students. And so they had more of a cultural reason to go to see to speak the language. What most of the trips we go to, like there are cultural pieces, but there's so much history built in.
Yes.
That stuff was not an interest for those kids. And even in my first trip with the kids, like the one I coached them in volleyball, but I didn't teach them as much in social studies. The cultural piece is interesting to everybody. Like going to, walking through, the streets of Paris is amazing for anybody that's accessible. But once you start to walk into some of the historical sites without any background or context, it just feels, it just lands flat. They don't really know what to look. And I felt the same way my first times going, not knowing as much about the places you're visiting made it a lot more difficult.
For sure. So I think, what I'm hearing from you is really underscoring the importance of context for students to really get the most out of the experience, but also, like from what I'm hearing in terms of it being rewarding, that is also something that's super important for the educator that's leading the trip or participating in the trip as well. Have you had any other experiences with other educational travel providers at all, Chris?
I haven't. I've been super loyal to EF.
Thank you.
Mostly because, to be honest, mostly because it's always felt like an amazing experience from start to finish. It's like each one of the guides we've had has been has done such an amazing job of like working with the kids and really taking care of us from start to finish. It's
Chris, did I lose you? Oh, there you go. You're back.
Yeah, sorry.
I lost you momentarily.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard that, but for the most part, it's been such a seamless experience. It's hard for me to take a gamble on another company at this point. We'll continue to stay loyal.
That's much appreciated, and that's wonderful to hear. I'll continue through our next section with you. What's one of your goals if you think back to your experience, outside of administration and back being in the classroom teacher or the lead educator on one of these things? What are your goals as an educator, and how would you say that they've changed since you started in 2005? Chris, were you able to hear that?
Sorry, I had a hard time hearing that. What was that you said?
So the question was, what are your goals as an educator, and how have they changed since you started in 2005?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think for the most part, back then it was about making connections with kids and finding ways to, make learning relevant and fun. I think with my role changing to be a vice principal, I think it's that shifted for me in the sense that I'm going to want to take care of kids in a different way. The learning is a lot different and a lot less direct. So that's a tough one. I think it's still for me